Beginning. Kieran Holt never asked to be dragged into the politics of alien clans. He was just a field technician on the frontier world of Kilora, hired to maintain terraforming stations. He liked solitude, the hum of machinery, and the open skies of a world still half wild. But Kilora wasn't uninhabited when the humans arrived. The Etheri, the tall, lithe, rune-marked natives, had lived there for millennia, hidden in forested valleys and mountain fortresses. They tolerated human settlers as long as boundaries were respected. When they weren't, disputes were settled not with paperwork, but with duels. Kieran had no business being part of one. Yet fate had other plans. It started when his survey team accidentally drilled into a sacred ridge, shattering an ancient shrine. The Etheri clan that owned the land, Clan Vera, demanded retribution. Normally, a diplomat would smooth things over. But thanks to bureaucratic delays, Kieran found himself standing in a ring of stone, chosen as his team's representative. Across from him stood their champion. Her name was Saris, and she was terrifyingly beautiful. Nearly 7 feet tall, armored in silver scale plates, her obsidian hair bound in braids streaked with glowing azure threads. Her weapon was an enormous curved blade etched with runes that glimmered faintly even in daylight. Her golden eyes locked onto him with both fury and sorrow, as if dueling him was as much a burden as it was an honor. Kieran, in contrast, wore his work overalls and clutched a borrowed shock baton. He knew he didn't stand a chance. But in Etheri law, intent mattered. To step into the ring meant you fought not just for yourself, but for your people. If you showed courage, sometimes mercy followed. Begin, intoned the elder overseeing the duel. Saris moved like lightning. Middle. The duel was short, brutal, and utterly one-sided. Kieran swung clumsily, his baton hissing against the air. Saris dodged with effortless grace. Each strike of her blade came within inches of ending him. He fought not to win, but to survive a little longer. Finally, he lunged awkwardly and stumbled. Saris countered with a swift slash, intending only to disarm him. Instead, the edge of her blade grazed his palm. Kieran hissed, clutching his hand. Blood welled up, and then everything changed. The runes along Saris's blade flared with brilliant light, burning brighter than the sun. Blue fire coursed across the metal, racing down the length of the weapon until it blazed like a star. The crowd gasped. A ripple of shock passed through the Etheri gathered around the ring. One by one, they dropped to their knees, pressing foreheads to the ground. Even the elders bowed. Saris froze, eyes wide in disbelief. She looked from her blade to Kieran, then back again. Her lips parted, whispering a word he didn't understand. Vorishan. What the hell just happened? Kieran asked, voice shaking. Saris lowered her weapon slowly, reverently. Her golden eyes locked onto his with something new, not anger, not pity, but awe. You bear the mark of the returned, she said, voice trembling. The blade recognizes your blood. Kieran blinked. I what? The elder rose to his feet, his expression grave. The prophecy of the Runblade, he intoned. When the lost air bleeds upon the weapon of our ancestors, its runes shall ignite, and our clan shall kneel. Kieran stared at his hand, at the tiny cut still glowing faintly with the same blue fire as the blade. You've got to be kidding me. But no one was laughing. Over the following days, Kieran's life unraveled. Clan Vera treated him as an honored guest. No, more than that, as something sacred. They built him a chamber within their fortress, draped in silks and incense. Servants attended him, bowing low. Everywhere he walked, Etheri eyes followed. Saris became his shadow, assigned to guard him. She explained, reluctantly, the truth of what had happened. The blade you touched is the Critharian, forged in the age before memory. It chooses only the bloodline of the Vorishan, the royal line that once ruled all clans. They were slain generations ago. No heirs remained. Until me,
Kieran asked.
She nodded. Somehow, your blood carries their mark. You are their heir reborn, whether through forgotten lineage or destiny. Kieran laughed nervously. I'm just a tech. My mom ran a bakery. My dad fixed engines. I'm no king. But Saris did not smile. The blade does not lie. As days passed, Kieran felt the weight of prophecy pressing down on him. Clan Vera wanted him to lead them, to unite the scattered clans once more. Some whispered he would drive the humans from Kilora. Others believed he would bridge both peoples. Not all were pleased. Rival clans called him an imposter, a fraud. Assassins struck in the night, testing both his courage and Saris's vigilance. Each time, she defended him with a fierceness that left him shaken. And through it all, the runes that had marked his palm refused to fade. They burned faintly beneath his skin, pulsing with a rhythm that matched his heartbeat. Kieran began to wonder if, despite his protests, the prophecy was real. Ending. The climax came during the gathering of clans, when emissaries from across Kilora assembled beneath the starlit skies. It was the first such gathering in centuries, drawn not by treaties, but by the rumor of the returned heir. Kieran stood before them, dressed in ceremonial robes he barely understood. Saris stood at his side, blade in hand. The crowd of ethery leaders looked upon him with suspicion, curiosity, and fear. An elder from Clan Draven stepped forward, sneering. This human cannot be of Vorishan blood. He is an outsider. The prophecy is a trick. Let the blade prove it again.
Kieran hesitated.
He wanted to run, but Saris's steady hand on his shoulder anchored him. He stepped forward, lifted the Critharian, and drew its edge across his palm once more. The runes ignited instantly, brighter than before, bathing the gathering in azure fire. The air thrummed with ancient power, and as one, the clans fell to their knees. The elder of Clan Draven dropped his defiance, bowing low. Vorishan returns, he whispered. Kieran's heart pounded. He wanted to deny it, to tell them he was no heir, no savior. But as he looked across the kneeling clans, he realized something. For the first time since humans had come to Kilora, the ethery were united. Not through war, but through hope. And maybe, just maybe, he could be more than a technician. He raised the blazing blade high, voice carrying across the silent gathering. I am no king, he said. But if fate has chosen me, then I will not turn away. I will stand with you, not above you. Not as master, as ally. The clans rose, voices lifting in a chant that shook the stars. Saris stood beside him, her golden eyes filled with something softer now. Faith, perhaps, or devotion. That night, as the firelit celebration stretched long into dawn, Kieran sat alone with Saris. I don't know if I can do this, he admitted. I'm just me. Saris placed her hand gently over his, where the glowing runes still pulsed. You bled. The blade answered. That is all that matters. The rest we will face together. Kieran looked out at the alien sky, the fortress lights glittering against the horizon. His quiet life as a technician was gone forever. In its place stretched a path of uncertainty, danger, and impossible responsibility. But for the first time, he didn't feel alone. And in the silence of the night, the runes on his palm glowed steadily, as if the ancient blade